What's good, you animals? Jake here, dumb as ever, here on the second channel with a compilation video of all the YouTube shorts I did for the month of November 2025. I challenged myself to do a short every day I didn't upload an actual full-length video, and I actually managed to do it, which was pretty cool. So I decided to put all these shorts into one long video for you to enjoy. Most of it is Transformers, but sometimes I deviate off topic a little, but don't worry, the videos aren't long, so if you don't like what I'm talking about, I'll be talking about Transformers in the next one most likely. I think I'm gonna keep doing these shorts, so let me know what your favorite shorts from this compilation were. So please enjoy and please consider liking and subscribing to fight Algae Rhythm. It's almost Halloween, and at TFCon I got this little Garfield head, which can actually slot onto figures' heads, kind of with different results. I mean, depends on the head size, but look how funny that is. Cosmos with the Garfield head for today. So I thought I'll try this head on a bunch of different figures. We of course have the big boss bot. He's got the lasagna flavored axe as well. It doesn't quite fit on Megatron as the Fallen, but it does look like he's wearing a hat he got from Hot Topic. Rodimus Prime with the head looks really great because of the orange. You got the touch? Nah, you got the Garf. Of course we gotta get Megatron in on this, and actually the hat fits really nice on his head. It's like perfect fit, sort of. To me, my lasagna cons. Sideways is a pretty Halloween themed villain anyway, so boink. Stupid. This is stupid, man. And finally, we have animated Nemesis Prime, who actually farms aura pretty hard with the Garfield head. It looks weirdly good on him. This is just like my dark, fricked up version of Nemesis Prime. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you have a good Halloween. Smell ya later. I might have the weirdest Transformers animated collection ever. Transformers Animated is my favorite Transformers show. I love the cool designs, and I love the toy line because it adapted those designs so well. But I've only got a few figures, and the ones I have are kinda crazy. So this is my childhood Soundwave. Unfortunately, I don't have his laser beak. I need to get a new one at some point. But this is a great toy that's lasted me many years. He's very well loved. I've always loved this cool chunky car mode he turns into. But this is my oldest animated figure, and a couple of years ago I got Cybertron mode Optimus Prime, which is a toy I always wanted as a kid but never had. And this Prime is special because at TFCon this year I got it signed by the designer of the toy. He was one of the lead designers on the Transformers animated toy line. It's so insane to me how they were able to capture the look of the show in these toys. Like, all the angles are there, man. They did a great job. And a couple months ago, I got Oil Slick, who is an interesting character because he appeared in the show for one episode, but he was never on Earth and never had an Earth vehicle mode. Apparently, they designed the toy first and liked the character design so much that they put him in the show. But in the context of the show, he wouldn't have an Earth vehicle mode. I love the chopper he turns into with these big old barrels on the side, and that ram skull is just sick. This dude is so sick looking, one of my favorite figures. I love the tattoo sort of tribal decals he has on his chest, and I love that his head is in this jar, very Mr. Freeze style. Genuinely one of the coolest characters. And finally, I have something so insane. This is animated Blackout, which is a very hard figure to get. It only came out in Japan, and it can go for like $400 on eBay. The crazy thing is that this was gifted to me by a fan at TFCon. This is literally one of my holy grails and not something I ever expected to get anytime soon, like probably not for like 10 years. And the fact that I own it at all is actually insane to me, and I will keep saying it's insane to me until it's not. Now in the show, Blackout was actually on the same team as Oil Slick, so it's really cool to have these two in particular together. I absolutely love the look of this robot mode, the tiny legs, big body. Unfortunately he has gorilla arms, but that's okay. He can still pull off a pretty cool blasting pose. And of course I love that head sculpt, so much personality, and I love that he has a little mustache like his avatar did in the movie. Because yeah, if it wasn't obvious, this guy is actually kind of based on the movie version of Blackout, which is really cool. So yeah, this is my really weird Transformers animated collection, but I love it. This Transformer is an alien. Well, I guess they're all aliens, but give me a shot here for a second. This is Cosmos, and he transforms into something pretty bizarre. Instead of a car or truck or train or even a tank, he transforms into a little adorable UFO. Look how cute this thing is. Oh my god, I just love him so much. You can just hear the Jetsons theme when you look at him. He also comes with this little blaster that also has a flag attachment. That's because he came with a special series based on Velocitron, which is a planet full of cars that love to drive fast. So he's sort of the guy that holds the race flag, I think. But yeah, I love the look of this little UFO. I love the little exhaust pipes on the back here. My only critique is that I wish he had little wheels so he could roll around. That'd be super fun. Also, I just love his robot mode. He's so fringe-shaped, and that head sculpt is just so cool looking to me. Overall, he's a great character and a great figure. Highly recommend. This Transformer turns into a Nerf blaster. Yeah, this is Megatron from Transformers Classics, and he turns into what looks like a Nerf Maverick. Which, if you're my age, late 20s, you probably remember the Nerf Maverick pretty well. It was like the most iconic Nerf blaster. And I absolutely have always wanted this Megatron, and I recently found it at TFCon for 20 bucks, and I could not say no. It has a clicking trigger, which I love. Of course, it's got the orange tip on the scope and barrel to make sure that the police know not to blast you away if they see you playing with it. Now, you might be asking, why the heck does Megatron turn into a Nerf blaster? And that would be because in the original G1 cartoon, he actually turned into a realistic pistol, which is kind of crazy to think about in modern day. And back when this was made, like 2006 to 2008, I can't remember, Hasbro was obviously like, we cannot make a realistic pistol Transformer anymore, but they still wanted to honor Megatron's origins, so they came up with this solution, turning into a Nerf gun essentially, or in the context of what this toy is, a laser pistol, you know, a laser blaster. It's not literally meant to be a Nerf Maverick, even though it's designed just like one. And the transformation on this guy is really interesting, because he basically explodes and does like this origami thing, and you basically just wrap his wings around the whole origami section. It's pretty interesting to look at, and the transformation is pretty fun. Though, I will say the parts where you have to clip these two shells together is really annoying, because it's hard to make sure everything's like locked into place. And right here with the scope, it's especially hard to see the connector points. But man, it makes for such a solid toy. It's so nice to hold. I mean, the grip's a little bit small, but I've got small hands, so actually I can hold it perfectly fine. The Japanese version of this toy actually has much more traditional Megatron colors, but I actually prefer this wacky purple and green color scheme he has going on. I don't know, it's already goofy. I don't need him to look super epic and cool. He's definitely missing some key modern day articulation, but he is old as hell. And I'd be lying if I said he couldn't pull off some good poses. I absolutely love his face sculpt as well. I love that big mean brow and the green eyes. And he's very clicky too, very clicky guy. Some people don't like his big wings, but I think it's fine. He's a Decepticon, they fly. But yeah, overall, great figure, absolutely in love with this classic version of Megatron that is not classic at all, and I highly recommend them if you can find them. I just started watching Transformers Prime, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I never watched it because it was on a premium cable channel as a kid, so this is a whole new world for me. And my friend JCC actually bought me this Vehicon, which are the drones for the Decepticons in the show. They don't really get their own personality, and they're basically like stormtroopers. I love this car mode, it's so slick. It kind of gives Batmobile vibes a little bit, but what I really love about this toy is the transformation, especially the leg section. So you're basically going to take the whole hood and ceiling of the car and sort of fold it in like that, and then like that, and then like that, and then these pieces are gonna come down, click in, and boom, you have feet. I just feel like that's so clever, and switching from vehicle mode to robot mode is really fun. His head is also pretty cool because you pull this out and back, and then there you go. Even though this guy is just a drone, he's great at looking menacing. And I love the clear plastic here over this silver part. It just has a cool look to it. Overall, this is a super cool figure, and I'm happy it's my first Transformers Prime figure. Damn you, JCC, now I gotta find some more. I really enjoy Mattel's Minecraft toy line. I think they go above and beyond for a lot of the toys. Like, for example, you would think his head can only spin around like this, but you can actually pop it up a little bit and move it up and down, which is actually really cool and really surprising. I recently picked up the Armadillo, which is a newer mob for Minecraft, and quite honestly, I don't really know what it does. You know, I'm sort of an older player. I haven't kept up with the updates like that. He does come with a baby armadillo, which I think is just adorable. But the coolest thing about this armadillo is that it transforms. That's right, this is a transformer that is not a transformer. So if you tuck in his legs, tuck in his tail and his little head, wait, no, his ears go back like this. Tuck in his head and collapse everything, he turns into a little balled up armadillo. I mean, that's what I think this is meant to be, just a armadillo hiding in its shell or whatever. This is a Minecraft version of that, and it's so cool, it's so simple. You just flip out the legs, like so, flip out his little tail, and then you flip out the head, and it's awesome. Really cool toy. Really cool toy that would not have had a lot of posability otherwise. They would have given it a little something, like the head could probably move a little bit more, but the fact that they gave it this transforming, hiding in its shell feature is so cool. Very fun fidget toy to play with. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, Mattel. You guys did a great job on this guy. Believe it or not, these little things are Transformers. Well, unofficial Transformers. They're third party, but they do transform, and they look like little Gameboy cartridges. Everybody keeps reading this as Guilmon, like the Digimon, but it actually says G1mon. And it has Snaptrap here, of course, because it's blue, so he's like Blastoise. Now, each one of these cartridges transforms into an iconic Transformer from G1. This one transforms into Rumble or Frenzy, depending on how you feel that day. So here's this guy, and of course we have Pokemon Red, which has Dragon Megatron, Transmetal 2 Megatron, and this guy opens up to be, as you might expect, Rumble or Frenzy. Yeah, I can't go into why I keep interchanging these guys' names. Just look it up. Rumble and Frenzy Transformers. It's a whole thing. Their most recent one they put out is actually a Pokemon Yellow, which has, of course, Rat Trap on it. And you can actually see on this one it says Game Bot. These are all 3D printed, and you can definitely feel it. And some of the details are kind of lost, but it is still very cool in my opinion. So this guy transforms exactly the same way. Little feet kick out, and this one is Bumblebee. Very chubby looking malnourished Bumblebee, or I don't know what's going on with his face, but it's 3D printed, man. They did their best. So absolutely love these bizarre little guys. I love this set, and I hope they make more. I got these guys from Proto Man, who is the dude that runs the Transformers Slag podcast. I don't know if he's selling them online or what. I think he hooked me up with these two guys because they're kind of older releases. But yeah, they're really cool, and I really enjoy them. So shout out Proto Man. This is The Last Night Megatron. The Last Night is a terrible movie. I hate it. But I saw this Megatron at the toy department for only 15 bucks, and he's a leader class, so I thought that was a really good deal, and the paint looks awesome, so I took the chance on him. Now, like I said, the paint looks really good. Like, I love the silver and the gold, and he even has these little Cybertronian markings painted, which is above and beyond what Hasbro would do today. His face sculpt and painting is really good as well. They even painted his teeth, like wow. And his face actually has a really cool feature, so you've got this ugly mug right here, but he does have a little switch on the back into his battle mask, which looks awesome. He's got some ankle tilts. His worst articulation is unfortunately his arms, which are gorilla arms, meaning they can only bend inward, but you can rotate his wrist, only there's a big hole in this part of his arm, so He, like, doesn't have gorilla arms, but he basically does unless you want his arm to be ugly. His fusion cannon actually pops out with a cool automorph feature, like so, and then you just pull out the rest of the cannon, which is really cool. But yeah, I love this night look for Megatron. He just looks so cool. Maybe my favorite movie Megatron look. Okay, and here is the gigantic jet mode that he turns into. He really stretches himself out, especially that wingspan, man. Look at that. That's so awesome. And again, they even painted the Cybertronian details, which I love. I love how the gold looks on here. Just a really slick jet. One of the craziest parts is that the cockpit actually opens, revealing like an alien seat, which is just... like, why'd they even do that? But cool. Of course, the blaster thing still works in jet mode. Still kind of looks cool as well. And someone on my Discord actually told me it looks like a pickaxe, and they're totally right. First we Mega, and then we Tron. Megatron! This Transformer is absolutely adorable. This is Transformers Soundwave, and these guys are only available in Japan, sadly, but I was able to find one at a decent price at TFCon. What's awesome is you can actually reuse the packaging if you want. But here's a little guy, and wow, he's so cool looking. I love the big back wheels and small front wheels. Reminds me of those cartoony Hot Wheels. And yeah, of course, the coolest thing is that this guy actually transforms. You split the back here, grab his little feeties, move the hood backwards onto his back, and then you just flip out his little arms. And there he is. What a goober. Absolutely awesome head sculpt, and wow, he's just so cute. I love the blue color they used as well, and the yellow and red accents just pop so well. Also, his head turns, I didn't even realize that. That's amazing. My only issue is that his legs are a little bit loose, but not too bad. So he can stand on the ground if you need him to. But yeah, this is an awesome figure, and unfortunately, these guys usually go for like 40 bucks online, which in my opinion is way too much. So try and find a good deal if you can. But it's definitely worth it to have at least one of these little dudes. Okay, so in the world of Transformers, there's something called third party, which is a company that's not owned by Hasbro that makes transforming toys, basically without permission. How are they allowed to do this? I don't know. I don't really know the legal logistics of it, but it happens. And there is a big part of the fandom that collects third party figures. Now, I've never collected third party, but I did find this little guy, Dr. Wu Leap, who is Cliffjumper, and I just had to have him because I'm a big Cliffjumper fan. He comes with his giant bazooka, of course. But this little guy, who is so tiny, here he is next to one of my Megatrons, literally can stand in the palm of my hand. This little guy is amazing. I love him so much. And the most crazy part is that he still transforms. And it's actually a pretty interesting transformation as well. You would expect it to be hyper simple, and it is fairly simple, but it actually has some interesting parts. Like, look at the way his little foot expands. That's pretty cool for such a small transformer. This little guy is actually so complex, I'm kind of confused on what I'm missing here. Oh, I was just being dumb. The clearance was just a little bit eh. But yeah, look at this teeny tiny Cliffjumper car. How incredibly cool is that? And it doesn't feel like cheap or a knockoff or anything. It feels solid just as much as any Hasbro product. So yeah, this is awesome. I'm definitely gonna have to look into more Dr. Wu stuff because I really like this teeny tiny version. And I know this is kind of their thing, so I think I'm gonna need some more, waiter, please. More Dr. Wu third parties on the way, please, waiter. I've been super into Transformers Prime lately, and I had to get an Optimus. This is Transformers Prime RID Voyager class Optimus. So there's a much better version called the First Edition, but it's very expensive. And I just wanted a little Prime. I wanted a little Prime, so I got a little Prime. I absolutely love this little adorable truck mode. In general, I think his long nose truck mode in the show is really cool looking. You know, it's the right mix of G1 and the movie for me. And I love those translucent blue windows. Like all of these RID Transformers, he comes with a dumb weapon. So this is a blaster. There's actually a little light inside. It's not super powerful or anything, but there is a little light. Just got this giant mechanism that you pull back, and then boom, his blaster. Not the best weapon, mostly because it can't lock in and stay as a blaster. That would have been nice, but it just doesn't do that. Oops. And he also has this random sword. Like, it's not like his arm blades or whatever, it's just a sword. Really short one too. But let's go ahead and get this guy transformed. So the coolest and most frustrating part of this transformation is how the windows of the truck mode become the windows of the robot mode. So a lot of these RID figures have fake faux parts, but this is actually cool because it's not fake. It's fully the windows from the truck mode. And basically it all just slots in here, but you've got to make sure to push it really hard in and align everything. So it took me a lot of force my first time transforming him. And it was actually pretty scary, but he does transform. It just requires certain moving of bits and aligning things. And here's Optimus in robot mode, and wow, he looks great, man. Now, I'm not a super big fan of these translucent arms. They can definitely break in the future if I'm not careful, but overall, the look itself, obviously not show accurate, but I don't really mind that much. I do also feel like his body section could maybe use some more paint, maybe some darker paint, but man, overall, he really captures the look. He's got the big, broad chest, tiny head. Even the parts around here look fairly accurate to the actual show, as does his back, which has these parts with the exhaust pipes. So overall, really accurate and really fun to transform once you know what you're doing. I love that even the windows on his chest fold out a bit just to be a little bit more accurate. Of course, he does have his dumb weapon, which we plug in here. You can go like that and boom, wow, cool. It would be cool if it could lock into blaster position. And he also has his sword, his tiny sword. Again, I don't know why he has it, but he does in fact have it. So yeah, quite an impressive figure in my opinion. Really enjoyed it, and I do recommend this one. This Megatron is incredibly weird. This is Sharkticon Megatron from Transformers Prime. Specifically, it's from the Beast Hunters subline of Transformers Prime, and it's actually an extensive retool of the original version. Now, they decided to base him off a Sharkticon for some reason, don't really know why. This whole line was kind of bizarre, but I love absolutely insane looking things, and this guy is absolutely insane looking. Just look at that evil mug. Why are you blue? The funniest thing is that this version of the character was not even in the show. He's got this ugly fish weapon, which is kind of funny looking. When you pull this thing out, the sword retracts, so it's kind of like a Dark of the Moon mech tech weapon, and if you pull it all the way out, you can actually set it so it stays, kind of. The sword is a little bit wonky, but you can sort of set it into this sword mode, which is cool. Most of the weapons do not do that in this line. But yeah, this Megatron is cool, and I love that he has a little Sharkticon Decepticon symbol. I don't think this has been used anywhere else ever before, or ever again, so yeah, bizarre but funny and cool. One cool part of the transformation is I love how the chest splits open and actually forms the front of the ship. And here he is in his Sharkticon mode, I guess. He kind of looks more like an evil stingray or something to me, but I absolutely love the look of him. I love the colors. I love the sharp teeth here. He actually has a little hood for his head. The original didn't have a hood, so his head was showing. Intentionally, that's how he's supposed to look, but they added this little hat for him, I guess, since he's underwater, maybe. But yeah, obviously some sort of Cybertronian vehicle. It does look a little bit messy around the wings here and stuff like that, but honestly, it's just so weird and so cool. Like, how could you resist this? I couldn't resist it. I really couldn't. And of course, that weapon from earlier can plug into here if you want a giant, stupid weapon on top of him. So there you go. Classic Megatron. But yeah, this is Beast Hunters Sharkticon Megatron. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye. If you've been watching my YouTube shorts for a bit, you know I've been pretty into these bitty pops. which are teeny tiny Funko Pops. And I even have this little arcade machine that came with the Toy Story Biddy Pop. So when I saw this in stores, I knew I had to grab it. I'm a sucker for these little arcade machines. I know there's a Five Nights at Freddy's one that I desperately want, but I've never seen it. But Tron is too good of a fit for one of these things. It's very unfortunate that the new Tron movie seems to have flopped. Everyone's blaming Jared Leto, and to be honest, they're probably not wrong. Here's our Tron Biddy Pop. We'll take a closer look at him in 1 second. And here's our Tron arcade cabinet. It does say Tron right there, and then it's got some very cool imprints of Sark and Tron, as well as some buttons. I wish they clicked, but they don't, sadly. And then we have this image here of Tron and Sark above him with the Tron logo. Same thing on the other side, and then Biddy Pop Arcade on the back. So the way these things work is that you take your Biddy Pop. So here's Tron from Tron. So here he is. Nothing on the back. I don't think they're doing any more Tron Biddy Pops to my knowledge anyway. Here he is without his plastic box shell. He's got some printing on his body there. All kind of smudged together, which, you know, it's a very small guy. But the printing on his helmet looks really good. Oops. And yeah, I love the blue on this guy. I mean, I've watched the movie, and it's a pretty cool effect they have in the movie. I keep dropping them. So the way this works is that you open up the back, and you just slot in the Biddy Pop. Like so. He's nice and secure in there. And then it also says you can put the box back here. So the back of the arcade box does show the other, like, box for the Funko Pop going into the back here. Yeah, I guess Funko Pop fans, let me know if I'm doing anything wrong, but this thing just will not fit. I can push it, like, I can force it in, but it's a really tight fit, and you can feel the tension of the plastic. So it will, without a doubt, break this at some point. So I'm not going to do that. Just going to keep it out of the box, which is annoying. It would have been really nice to be able to store it in here. And maybe I am doing something wrong, but I don't know what. But here he is with Tron inside. Very cool effect. I just love the concept of these. I think they're really clever, and yeah, I would kill for the Five Nights at Freddy's one. But thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll continue to update you on my Biddy Pop collection as I get more. Okay, so this is something I've been excited about for a while. This is the Jazwares Avatar Legends. I think that's the name of the toy line. Aang, Book 3 Aang. I really enjoy Avatar The Last Airbender. I never watched Korra, but I did watch this original show all the way through. And these toys actually look fantastic. I feel like McFarlane kind of dropped the ball on Avatar stuff, and the basic figures from Jazwares don't look too interesting, but these collector series figures look so good to me. Especially the fact that it has soft goods, which is so, like, not common anymore for action figures. So let's open up this guy and see what he's all about. Okay, here he is out of package, and man, he does look fantastic. He's got quite a bit of articulation. He's got like a little bit of a ab joint here. He's got butterfly joints in his arms, so they go forward and back really nicely. Little bit loose feeling, not gonna lie. Feels a little bit loose. Swivel at the shoulder. He's got a double bend at the elbow. He's got kind of rocker hip joints here, so they're on ball joints, but they also rock up back and forth. He's got a double bend at the knee here. Now, the pants he's wearing are very baggy, so the double bend looks pretty weird. Obviously not supernatural, but and then he's got an ankle tilt and forward and back. So yeah, they gave this guy as much articulation as and he's got a he's got a cut at the thigh here so he can bend, of course. I'm sure he's got even more articulation that I'm not even realizing, but this dude is articulated as hell. The head sculpt is really nice. You know, he's got the big anime eyes. His head does feel a little bit big in comparison to the body, but that might just be like the cartoon proportions. Like, he's also got a second head where he's happy. Wow, there he is. Happy Aang. He looks great. Let's see. He's also got his staff here. It's a bit tough to get the staff in his hands. You gotta flex the thumb a little bit. So here he is with his staff. I don't really remember the staff that well, to be quite honest. I remember his staff that had like the the umbrella thing on it so he could glide, but this looks cool. He's also got this accessory, which I don't really know how you're supposed to use it. The back of the box doesn't show him with it. Maybe something kind of like this. I don't know. As you can tell, I'm so not an action figure poser. I'm terrible at it. Maybe something like that. Or maybe it wraps around his body. I'm not sure, but yeah, just overall the sculpt and everything, it looks excellent, man. I think Jazwares did a fantastic job. I got this guy on sale for like 16 bucks at Target. For what we've gotten so far, they've done a great job, and I'm really happy with this Aang. This is my favorite looking Transformer. I know, it's kind of random. This guy is called Calcitron, and he came in a 2-pack with a character called Thundertron. I sold my Thundertron a while ago. He was cool, but I just didn't love him. But something about this figure I'm just obsessed with. This Transformer is from the Legacy line. It's a repaint of Magnus, who transforms into this weird rock car thing. They had a bunch of Transformers based on rock-style vehicles. It was kind of weird, but also pretty cool. And what I really love about Calcitron here is just the blue color. I love this rich blue. And then they also like spray painted pieces of it to make it look a little bit lighter, almost like he's made of ice or something. And then we have a whole other sort of blue, which is kind of hard to tell on camera, but it definitely is different in real life. So yeah, I absolutely love this guy, and I really love his pickup truck mode as well. You can take this piece out and sort of give him that empty space in the back, which is really cool. And he can carry all sorts of stuff. Transformation is fine, not my favorite, only because parts of him sort of fall off because he has this gimmick where he's supposed to come apart and you can use pieces of him as armor and stuff. But honestly, I never do that, so he kind of just falls apart for fun. And here he is in robot mode. I do think he looks really cool in this mode as well. This head sculpt is really gnarly. I love the red eyes. And I like that he has like 2 little toes here. The chest is pretty interesting because it's the 2 wheels together. And I also really like that his weapon is a pickaxe because he's like made out of rocks. So yeah, Calcitron, a little underrated guy that I definitely recommend if you can find him loose, if only just for the awesome color scheme. They really went all out with the paint, way more than they usually do, so I really appreciate that. Transformers 1 came out over a year ago, and I've been collecting the Studio Series toys as they've been coming out. And I gotta say, this line is kinda cool, but also kinda disappointing in some ways. For example, I think this Optimus Prime is a really cool figure. It's got some major issues though, like this plate here likes to pop off super easily. And also the colors in general are kinda weird. It looks like white plastic that's been around someone that smokes or something. There's like some yellow in there that just really messes with the color. I also feel like he's much too small to be Optimus Prime. Maybe I'm crazy, but I do think he should be a little bit bigger. Just like size in general, he seems a bit too small. But overall, I do enjoy the look of him. After Optimus came Megatron. Now this Megatron, I do wish he had a Decepticon symbol, and his blaster is kind of pathetic compared to the movie. You can kind of do this, take his sidearm and plug it in here and sort of have a bigger cannon. That works for me a little bit better. I don't know. I do like this guy better than Optimus, but there's just something missing with him. And again, I feel like he's too small. Then after that, I got Sentinel Prime, who is probably my favorite of the bunch. I just think he's really good looking. I feel like they got a lot right. He has this weird pink shield, which people swear is in the movie, but I don't remember it for the life of me. But I really love the look of this version of Sentinel Prime. I do wish more of this gold paint made it on the toy. It's mostly like this flat yellow color, which doesn't look terrible, but he's mostly gold in the movie, and we only got it here and here, a little bit on the head. I thought the scene was so cool in the movie, and I'm really glad they gave it to the toy. And then finally we have Bumblebee, who looks great in my opinion. I think they got the look from the movie down pretty well. His legs are like kind of flat and weird, but honestly I don't really care. They did give you sword hands and blaster hands, and you can just have the blaster hands without the sword, which is cool. I do think it's funny how they gave the happiest character the most depressed looking face. Alright, here they are in vehicle mode. Let's take a look at Megatron first. I think this tank mode is pretty cool. Tank mode is not my favorite for Megatron, but I think it looks alright. You can move the turret all around. And I do kind of like this trundling half-H tank look of his mode in the movie. Optimus is fine. I don't don't love it, but it's serviceable. He needed to turn into a space truck, so he's a space truck. But just not my favorite Optimus Prime alt mode. I love this little speedster that Bumblebee turns into. I think it's so cool looking. And I like that his blasters can attach to the top here. And yeah, he just turns into this mean little race car. Definitely inspired by the Bumblebee movie Cybertronian mode he had. And then finally, my favorite out of the bunch is Sentinel Prime. I absolutely love this jet mode that he turns into, which is kind of ironic because he never turns into this in the movie. But man, it just looks awesome. I love the forward swept wings. So yeah, Transformers 1 is a great movie, and I will be picking up more of the toys. We know Arachnid, Elita 1, and Alpha Trion are coming out, plus more on the horizon. So I'll definitely be continuing this collection. This dinosaur toy is amazing. This is the Beast of the Cyberzoic Allosaurus from Creative Beast Studios, which is an indie toy company focused on bringing the best of the best when it comes to dinosaur toys. Because not only is the sculpting amazing, the look is scientifically accurate as possible, the texture feels so cool, this toy is also super articulated for a dinosaur. I mean, look at the way you can turn his head. You can turn it side to side, you can look up and down. His legs have this, and then they go in and out, and then his tail. People keep telling me his tail is upside down. It's not. It's not. This is obviously the bottom of his tail. Look at the holes here for the bendy wire, because yes, there is in fact a bendy wire at the end of his tail, which is so cool. His mouth can open this much, or you can open it even wider like that. And even his body moves a bit. You can hear that click, so he can move his body to the side a little bit. Now, if you watch my video on this guy, I do say that he can stand on his own without this included stand. But over time, his ankle joints have gotten, like, pretty loose, and so he's not standing as well, unfortunately. But it's the ankles, they're, like, way looser now for some reason, which could be fixed with, like, nail polish or something like that. But yeah, man, just an incredibly cool dinosaur toy. It's a high-end collectible for sure. I think this dinosaur alone goes for, like, $120 online, but golly, if you got the funds and you're a dinosaur fan, you can't go wrong with the Creative Beast Studios. I finally have them. In 2002, a show called Transformers Armada came out, and it was my first real Transformers show where I watched the show, I got the toys, I was totally invested. And I absolutely loved the toy line, the characters, everything. Well, over the past few years, Hasbro has been remaking the characters in brand new toys, and I finally have the first 3 Autobots from the show: Hotshot, Red Alert, and of course Optimus Prime. Now, if you saw the show as a kid, you might remember Hotshot being yellow. This is actually a repaint called Power Link's Hotshot, and I got it because he actually comes with his Minicon. In my opinion, Hasbro really dropped the ball on this line in terms of the Minicons. Minicons are so important to the show, and the fact that you can only get a few of them really sucks. But besides that, I think these are all amazing updates to the characters. I want to take a look at vehicle mode first, because I don't know, I think these guys are just super chunky and fun. Red Alert is the most recent one I picked up. He was the last one out of the trio that came out. I think this little ambulance SUV sort of thing is so sick. He is a Voyager, but he's quite small, to be honest. I mean, look, he's about the same size as Hotshot. I mean, a little thicker, of course, but still, this is like a $10 price difference. But I mean, besides being a bit small, I think this is awesome. Hotshot is kind of perfect to me. I actually love this color scheme for him. He's got the hot rod flames and stuff going on, and I'm a big hot rod fan. What I think they really nailed, though, is his Minicon partner, Jolt. This little helicopter is so cute, and the robot mode not only looks great, but show accurate in a way I didn't even know I wanted. And of course, we have the big Mamma Jamma Optimus Prime with his huge, heavy artillery trailer. Golly, I love this version of Optimus Prime. I love his look. He's so cool. And all 3 of them together look amazing. As you can see, this team just looks amazing together in robot mode. I've already done a video talking about this amazing Optimus Prime toy, and he just looks perfect with Red Alert and Hotshot. Red Alert is funny because he's obviously like got a RoboCop thing going on with the visor, but he also gives a lot of shockwave with like the blaster hand as well as the one eye. And then Hotshot's okay. I don't love the color scheme in robot mode as much as I do vehicle mode, but he looks alright, and I like that they painted his face silver. So yeah, the first trio of Autobots is completed. I hope at some point they add in Smokescreen or Scavenger, which are really fun toys that could use some updates. But yeah, Armada fans are eating good. Five Nights at freaking Freddy's. I've been waiting for a really good Five Nights at Freddy's toy line for a while, and who knew that it would be Jazwares picking up the license and taking it over that would finally give us a good toy line. Sorry to those that collected it, but Funko's toy line always looked like crap to me. And this is really interesting, this whole setup, so let's just get into it. So this is the Endo series, and it's based around these Endo skeletons that have different armor pieces so you can make different animatronics. Now when I first saw these toys online, I was super hesitant about them. What I really wanted was just collector grade figures, and this is Jazwares collector grade line, but it's also got this weird armor gimmick. But I have to say it actually works really well, and it almost feels like putting together a little super simple model kit. I do have to say the Endo skeleton itself is really cool and pretty articulated, like not insane, but you know, way more than I thought it would be. A waist joint that can just go crazy. But yeah, let's go ahead and armor this guy up into classic Bonnie. Putting it all together is dead simple. There's super obvious little cuts on everything, and bada boom, and now he has a Bonnie belly. Okay, and then the coolest part is obviously the animatronic head pieces. So when you open its mouth, the bottom jaw will also open, which is very cool. And then throw that on there, and there you go. Bonnie. All of a sudden you got Bonnie. Wow. And it looks great too. I mean, looks just like the game. Could use a little bit more texturing, in my opinion. I feel like it's a little bit flat, almost like a cartoon version of it or something. But overall, I think it's really cool. And he does retain some posability. I would not say all, because these pieces are like thick, so he can't bend his knee all the way. Obviously, these guys aren't super flexible anyway, so it would be funny to have a super duper flexible Five Nights at Freddy's figure, you know, that could do Spider-Man poses or whatever, but obviously that's not what they're going for with these releases. Okay, now that this is done, we're gonna go ahead and switch to the Withered Bonnie. So if you know the games, you know Withered Bonnie is a little bit more withered than all the other animatronics, and it also shows off that you can take off whole limbs from the endoskeleton, as well as, you know, the feet and hands and stuff. It's like fully modular. I mean, you can just even pop off the midsection here, so. Something really cool I didn't realize, and you can barely see it on the camera. They actually painted the insides of his eye sockets red to give that red glowing eye effect that Withered Bonnie has, which is really cool. I did not even realize that. Bonnie with you know, the missing faceplate, missing arm, definitely super withered, but looks really cool. I love the effect it kind of has of like teeth all around the top of the head sort of thing. Really interesting look. Not my favorite. I don't really like the withered looks in general. I much prefer the classic looks. One big issue I do have with the concept of the line though is how much stuff you end up with. Like when I take this guy apart and put together the classic Bonnie, I'm gonna be left with a bunch of withered stuff. Really happy with Bonnie here. Can't wait to get more. But yeah, that's my video on the Endo series Bonnie. This Transformer is incredibly weird. This is Scavenger from Transformers Armada, and while he definitely looks like a Constructicon villain with these colors, he's actually an Autobot. In the show, he's really cool because he actually taught Optimus how to fight, and he's basically like this super cool martial artist, just kind of random character, but really awesome. I had this toy as a kid and I loved it, so I'm so happy to have another copy. Now before we get into Scavenger, it is an Armada toy, so it comes with a mini-con. This is Rollbar, and he turns into this really cool little Jeep sort of dune buggy looking thing. I love that it has a roll cage and you can see the seats inside. And then to transform him, you just lift this up and you can actually see the seats even better. Feet out, super simple because it is a mini-con, of course, but that's why we love them. And here he is, Rollbar and all his glory. Obviously not the best articulation in the world, but yeah, Rollbar is super cool. But for our main event, Scavenger is such a weird transformer. The first thing I have to point out is his legs. His legs are basically a facade. So the feet you're seeing here are just two flat panels that are connected to this wheel. And his whole gimmick or action feature is that if you roll him across the floor, his feet will move like he's walking. Just strolling by. See ya. It is an incredibly interesting gimmick, and, you know, just kind of bizarre. I don't know about any other Transformer that does something like this. I'm sure there is one, maybe a G1 Transformer, but me personally, I have no idea who else does something like this. But he does have arm movement. He's got these really cool arms made of treads, and the treads are actually made of rubber. And they do have elbow bends. Like, you can bend it a bit. Obviously, they were definitely focusing more on the action feature for this guy instead of the articulation. And then, voila, you have, some sort of construction vehicle. Not sure what, but it's got treads, it's got a steam shovel, it's got whatever this thing back here is for. So, very, very neat looking vehicle at the very least, very unique. Arguably the coolest part, you can open the seat and then you can sit your Minicon inside. Sit him down there, he fits perfectly, and then boom. And then you have a Minicon driving a construction vehicle. How cool is that? I love this dude. Such an interesting toy. Not the best, not the most articulated, not even the coolest, but it's fun. It's so fun. And I had so much fun with him as a kid, and I'm super happy to have him again. So yeah, Armada Scavenger. If you can find this guy for a decent price, I definitely recommend it. He's a really cool toy. This Transformer turns into a boat. This is Seaspray from Transformers Generation 1. There are not many boat Transformers, but Seaspray here has to be the most iconic one of them all. It's actually the retro carded version from Walmart, so he has a toy accurate head instead of a cartoon accurate head. But I low-key think this toy accurate head is way cooler than the cartoon one. I've always thought Seaspray has had a really cool look. Like, I really like this whole contraption above his head sort of thing. And in general, his colors are just really nice and nautical. And this toy feels great, man. I just love the look of it. I love how solid he feels. A little bit hollow here, but not a big deal in my eyes. These little panels, though, are moving a bunch, which I do think is annoying. But I do gotta give credit, they painted these parts really nicely. The way his feet fold out into the bottom of the boat is really cool. And voila, we have a little boat. I don't know what type of boat this is, but I think it looks really cool. I love the turbines on the back or whatever. The colors, again, look amazing. And I like how smooth it is. It's just smooth and nice to hold, man. Love that big Autobot symbol here that splits apart during transformation. And overall, this is just such a solid little toy. He's awesome. And to go along with him, I have some of my other mini-bots here. And gosh, they look so cool together. I do think Seaspray looks pretty tall comparatively, but I think it's because of these things. It just makes him look taller. Bumblebee is obviously short as heck, though. But love these guys. Absolutely recommend the mini bots. I think Hasbro has been killing it on these toys. This football helmet is secretly a Transformer. I mean, the Autobot symbol might be giving it away, but this little Steelers helmet actually transforms. Now, don't get on me about the team choice. I just chose a random one, to be honest. My friend liked the Steelers when I was in school, so I chose Steelers. I do not watch football. But this little helmet is super cute. It does fully transform into a robot, which we'll look at in a second. Unfortunately, since it does transform into a robot, there is stuff in here, so you can't, like, put it on a big action figure head or something like that. But I think it looks pretty cool, pretty alright. It's pretty small as well, and the printing of the Steelers logo looks good to me. Since it transforms, there's a lot of panel lines and stuff because it all is sort of a shell for the Transformer, and they go together alright, but it's a little bit of a pain to transform into the helmet mode. When you want to turn him into a robot, these pieces actually come off. This whole bottom half of the helmet just pops off, and really most of it is just ripping the helmet apart. I think the transformation is fine for what it is. It's not crazy, but it's not that bad either. I do anticipate these toys being like the ultimate dad gift, though, and it might be a little difficult for your dad to transform, so you might need to help him. The head is a little bit tricky to get out. So here is Steelsmash in robot mode. Yeah, I forgot to mention he has a name. It's Steelsmash, which is fine. And he looks alright, a goofy little robot. His arms are way too short compared to his legs. He's got such stubby little arms, man. And if you'll notice, his hands have these little pegs, and they're not for transformation. He actually comes with a little football, which has a little hole so he can hold the football and, you know, pretend to be playing or whatever. I don't know how you play football, but it does look like he's carrying it, which is pretty cool. Or you can do a catching it pose sort of thing. Something really cool is that his football helmet actually comes off. There's a better look at his face sculpt. I think he looks better with the helmet on, though. Obviously, he's got a lot of big pieces of football helmet on him, but, you know, for what it is a cute little toy. It's only 25 bucks, which is actually decent. It's less than a regular deluxe class Transformer. For some quick comparisons, here he is next to Deluxe Bumblebee, and here he is next to Deluxe Seaspray. So, you know, he's about the size of a deluxe. I do have to say I appreciate this toy for just the novelty weirdness of it. Definitely one of the stranger Transformers I own. And don't worry if they haven't made your favorite team yet. They are guaranteed to make this guy in every single team color. There's no way they won't, so don't even worry about it, man. So yeah, this is guaranteed to be a hit gift with your dad if you have one of those, so I recommend picking it up for the holiday season. As you might know from my videos, I love Transformers Animated, and I've been buying these remakes that Hasbro has been doing, and I think they're great. Like, this Bumblebee vehicle mode is so accurate to the show, and I think they knocked it out of the park with this Optimus Prime. Just look at him. He exudes the confidence and look of animated Optimus. Great job. But they have been doing a couple repaints of these toys that I think are also amazing. So first up, let's take a look at Nemesis Prime to go with Optimus Prime. Now, Nemesis Prime was never in the show or any of the auxiliary comic books, so Nemesis Prime here is basically a fabrication for the toy line, but I'm completely okay with it because he looks so awesome. I love the clear red windows, and I love the teal all over his body in place of the yellow. Plus, he has a new head sculpt that features the faceplate, which looks so cool. I mean, his face is a little bit flat dimensionally, but looking face on, he looks really awesome, and I love that teal on his face and helmet. But yeah, this guy is just raw power. I love the look of him. And of course, we have vehicle mode, obviously looking very slick and cool in his fire truck mode here. And just for comparison, of course, we have Optimus Prime, and they look really cool together. Still waiting for them to do a Wingblade Optimus Prime. They left so many obvious hints on the toy that they were gonna do like an upgrade to add his Wingblade armor and stuff, and maybe even his trailer. Okay, and here we have Bumblebee, who is a great little figure. I do have some issues with it that I'll go over in a second, but this Bumblebee is so awesome, and the repaint of him is actually like 20 years in the making. This is Wasp, and in the show he briefly takes over Bumblebee's identity because they have the same sort of body type. But they were going to make a toy of Wasp just like this, a Bumblebee repaint in these colors, but the show got canceled before the toy could get made. So we just had prototype pictures of it for like 20 years, and finally we have a real version of the toy in 2025, which is so sick. So here we have animated Bumblebee in robot mode, and this is where my issues come in. Not big issues, I've actually softened up on this figure a ton, but for me personally, like his robot mode, it just doesn't scream animated Bumblebee to me. I mean, the face sculpt is amazing, I can't deny that, but the whole body shape and body type, it just doesn't feel like animated Bumblebee. But I do think it's a great little Transformers toy, and I'm willing to accept him as animated Bumblebee, and I'm definitely willing to accept this as animated Wasp, because wow, look at that head sculpt first of all. Pitch perfect to the original show, and so cool to see it in real life in my hand. Like, what the heck, they finally made it, man. I think Wasp's colors on this mode actually look so much cooler than the Bumblebee. Like, I don't know, those greens and purples, like, it just works for me, man. But yeah, it's so cool to have these together. Like, it feels insane actually, but it's so awesome. This Transformer is a freak. Okay, maybe freak is a little bit harsh. This is Transformers Core Class Beast Machines Cheetor. Now, if you've never heard of Beast Machines, it's the sequel to Beast Wars, and it's a really weird show that a lot of fans hate, mostly because of these bizarre redesigns that mix techno and organic. This toy even existing is a complete surprise. This is the first Beast Machines toy in like 20 years, probably more, and they decided to make a little version of Cheetor from the show. Cheetor in the show has super long legs, which they obviously gave him in this version as well. As a kid, I actually had the gigantic version of Cheetor called Supreme Cheetor, and it was like the size of a house cat. It was incredible. So I knew I had to get this little weirdo, and I'm glad I did, even though I don't think he's a very good toy. Robot mode is completely fine in my opinion. He even has more articulation than usual thanks to his weird knees. He's obviously doing a little bit of the chicken chicken leg thing, and you can make him go shorter or as tall as you want. I do like the purple metallic cheetah spots he has on his chest, though the other cheetah spots on his body are not metallic, so they don't really match. Well, the ones on his head are actually metallic as well, that's nice. But look at his face, he just looks sleep deprived. Bro hasn't slept a wink in years, and his eyes look like they're going 2 different ways. He is just an ugly son of a gun. Transforming him is ultra simple, I'd say. And then this is the cheetah mode. The way they want you to do it is plugging in his legs here, so he's kind of always stuck in this pose. Same thing with the upper arms. Like, you can move these, but not really. And then the head, if you put it all the way down, it kind of rests and just like looks like he's looking at the floor. So, you know, you can kind of prop it up a little bit so it's more forward facing. The back of the body is so plain looking, no spots or anything. It doesn't even look like the back of an animal. It just looks bad. His arms and legs are so close to each other. He just looks scrunched up and weird. I mean, makes sense for this version of the character, I guess, but he doesn't even stand good. Like, this cheetah mode is terrible. So yeah, this Transformer is a disgusting weirdo freak. And should be treated as such, but I do like that he exists. I can't lie. I like that he exists. I think it's funny. I'm glad that this small piece of Transformers history that nobody really likes that much got a toy. I like that. Just as a fan, I want almost every single area of Transformers to be covered in some way, and I'm glad they did that. So, you know, shout out to Beast Machine's Cheetor. He has endured a lot in his time. Happy Thanksgiving, Internet. Jake here, dumb as ever, and I thought I would show you guys some Thanksgiving-coded Transformers. What does that mean? I don't know. I'm just sort of making stuff up at this point. But most of them are orange to represent pumpkin pie. This guy is Deadlift. I have a whole short talking about him, but he does indeed turn into a little forklift. You know, some forks here to carve the turkey perchance. How about some sword arms to carve that turkey? This is Megatronus Prime wearing that Garfield hat I have. He could represent the oven that cooks the turkey with all these flames, and he even has a big fork on the back. We've got Rodimus Prime here, who is a Winnebago. To me, a Winnebago kind of represents family, because my uncle had one, and it would just be parked in the backyard of our house for like years and years. So yeah, a little bit of Winnebago action here. We also have some mini-cons, Rung and Jolt here. You know, these guys could represent the kids running around Thanksgiving, having fun. I think we all remember being silly and running around with our cousins on Thanksgiving. And then finally I have Age of the Prime Sideways. I honestly don't know why, but every time I look at this guy, I low-key think about pilgrims. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for all my viewers and all that stuff, so yeah. Thanks. Have a good holiday. So I collect a lot of action figures from all types of different shows and movies and stuff. And I thought it would be funny to build a Fortnite team out of my action figures, starting with Peely, of course, who is actually a Fortnite character. So there we have Peely, and of course, the ongoing event right now is Simpsons themed. So we gotta throw Homer in here, you know, let him get some kills in, a couple KD ratios. I don't know. I don't really play the game that much. And man, a movie I loved this summer was Superman. So you know we need Superman on the team. And if you've seen my shorts before, you know I'm a Transformers fan. So we gotta get Optimus Prime on this team. And he has actually been in the game before, which is cool. I don't have that skin, but now this team looks amazing. But I do actually have some characters I'd like to see in the game, so just to manifest a little bit, let's take out Superman and replace him with Bonnie from Five Nights at Freddy's. Now this would go hard. And how about instead of Optimus Prime, we throw in the Creeper? Oh man. And instead of Homer, could we potentially get freaking Spinosaurus? Now this is a Fortnite squad. This is my most expensive and rarest Transformer. This is Transformers Animated Blackout. And the reason he's so expensive and rare is because he was only sold in Japan. And he's also from a series a lot of people love. Transformers Animated is personally my favorite Transformer show. So this guy was a holy grail for me. And during TFCon a couple months ago, one of my channel members walked up and gave this to me as a gift. left. It still blows my mind to this day. And this figure is really awesome. All of the Transformers animated toys I think are incredible. And I'm not saying they're perfect, they all have some issues. And the scaling can be a little bit silly, like Bumblebee is taller than Bulkhead. But man, I'd be lying if I said these weren't amazing toys. And this Blackout especially is awesome because he's based on the movie version of Blackout, but he has his own animated spin to him, of course. I love this glittery red paint he has here. He's got his rotor here, which can actually shoot. He's got his propeller here, which does spin very nicely. And I just love the colors and look of this alt mode. I just think it looks so good. Now to transform him, it's really simple. You pop off the weapon here, integrated weapon storage. I love to see it. You can do a little bit of a Gerwalk Blackout here. And then you split apart the cockpit and then bring it back. And it just kind of clicks into here, which is just a really cool way to do that transformation. And then you just kind of fold his helicopter rotors back. These two top ones are always going to be up here. Oh wait, I didn't realize these fold down. I did not know those folded down. That's cool. Streamline that a little bit. Very nice. And boom, you have animated Blackout in all his robot mode glory. First things first, I love that head sculpt. So expressive. One of his eyes is bigger than the others. It just looks like he's giving a look. I always think about Jake the dog when I look at his face, but really it's more based on his human avatar from the movie. It has a mustache like that guy did. He's got some posability, but really his arms are unfortunately hindered. They can rotate like this, but his elbow joint is what we call gorilla arms, so it only bends inward. You can move the bicep to get this sort of look, but his hand is going that way, so a little bit unfortunate on the arm articulation, but I knew he was like this. I know, and I don't care. I really don't care. And also he does look sick doing one of these poses. But yeah, I just love how beefy and cool he looks. Like, man, it's so insane to be holding this toy in my hands. So crazy. But man, I love this guy. He's not a perfect toy, but he's perfect for me.